Welcome to Next Gen Tech Up. In this video, we will understand the scan listener from the ground up, and we will learn why Oracle introduced it and how DNS works, what are the scan IPs and node VIPs, and finally we will understand how the client connect to the database using scan. So suppose in a Oracle RAC cluster we have three servers, node 1, node 2 and node 3, and each node having these details: public IP, virtual IP, local listener and database instance. So before Oracle 11G, client had to know each, like every VIPs. Like basically, if he suppose you have three nodes, and three nodes you have to modify TNS entry with VIP 1, VIP 2 and VIP 3. Okay, and in case you are adding a node or deleting a node, that time also you have to modify this entry, and this will become very hectic for every administrator. To overcome this problem, Oracle introduced scan. Scan is basically a single client as access name. Okay, so I have prepared step by step, so you will get better understanding, and at the last you guys will understand how actually scan flow will works. Okay, so now what is scan basically? So earlier client know every VIPs, so now using scan, client don't want to know every host name, those things. He don't want to know these things, so he just want to know scan, only scan. The naming convention is like this. Okay, scan.company.com. This is just example I have prepared. Only know about the scan. So client never need to know these, like node 1, node 2, node 3. He don't want to know this one. Using scan he can connect to the database. So now let's come to the next steps, which is DNS. It is also important part in the scan. DNS. What is DNS? Suppose client types scan.company.com. Okay, here it don't know which IP he wants to connect. Which IP? He don't know the IPs. He just know the scan. So the DNS will come in this time. The DNS will come in this picture. So DNS. So the first step request go to DNS server. The client, he type it scan.company.com, and DNS server, it reaches to DNS server. DNS server basically resolve the IPs, scan IPs. Okay, and this is the scan, and it resolves these three IPs. It is also just example. Every environment have different IPs based on the configuration. So these are the three IPs he written. Okay, these are the scan VIPs. We can say these are the scan VIPs. Now notice there are three IPs for one host name. This is the host, and these are the three IPs for this scan IPs, scan VIPs basically. Oracle always recommend configure 3 scan VIPs. Either it's 4 node cluster, 5 node, 10 nodes, or so on. We should have 3 scan VIPs, which is this. And it always work round robin method. What is round robin method now? So suppose when client asks the DNS for the IPs of the scan, it return the IPs. Now which IPs he wants to connect basically. Suppose it's just an example. Client 1, it's coming to in this IPs. Client 2 coming in this IP. Client 3 coming into this IP. Now client 4, where client 4 will go? Client 4 again will come into 1. Then again it will, client 5 will come to 2 and 3. This is a round robin method basically. So I hope you understand this round robin method. Now distribute new connection. Why round robin method is important basically? So it distribute the connection across all the scan listener, and it also improves load distributing and high availability. This is the main purpose of the round robin. So you understand scan, you understand scan VIPs. What are the scan VIPs? You understand what is the role of DNS server. Now we will understand what is scan VIPs basically. It's a, you understand, it is a scan as a like a virtual IPs, but like how it works basically. Now we will understand this. For example, scan VIP1 running on node 1, scan VIP2 running on node 2 and node 3 and so on. Suppose node 2 crash. In this example, suppose node 2 crash, it got crashed. So what happened? So Oracle clusterware automatically redirect these scan VIP2 on available nodes, on any healthy nodes, either it's node 1 or either it's node 2. Suppose it got crashed, it's crashed. Now where it will go? It will go either node 1 or node 3 automatically. We don't need to do anything. It's based on the configuration and based on the healthy, which is healthy node. Okay, so suppose now before failure, these are the scenario: node 1 VIP1, node 2 VIP2, node 3 VIP3. After failure, node 1 VIP1, node 3 VIP2, node 3 VIP3 is based on the which is healthy node. It will redirect it there. So okay, I hope you understand this scan VIPs. Now understand the client process, client connect, sorry, how the client connect now. So suppose client requested, it type scan.company.com, it reaches to DNS, you understand here. Now in the DNS it returns multiple IPs, but multiple IPs we understand here, it returns multiple IPs, but in the round robin method, using round robin method, it returns one scan VIPs and it connected to scan listener. Now here until it's fine, we understand it. Now what next? In the scan listener, now scan listener receive the connection request. Now at this point it will ask which service the client needs to connect, which node, or is the load balancing is required or not, is the node down, is suppose node is down, and where it will go. Okay, these are the things. And in this picture there is a one service, like a one dynamic registration will comes in picture. What does this mean? So I told you, every node, each node having these things available. Okay, public, virtual, local and database instance. A local instance now will comes in picture in the here, dynamic registration. So suppose each node listener periodically tells the scan listener, hello, I am node 1, these services are running here, my load is low, I am available. Same node 2 and node 3 and so on, it will periodically tells the scan listener. Okay, now what is node VIPs? Now the third, I will tell you these complete flow at the last. Now what is node VIP? It will comes in this picture now. Every RAC node have its own VIP. Okay, here also I have mentioned node VIP, every node. If 3 node, then 3 VIPs. 2 node, 2 VIPs. Okay, so node VIP. And node VIP is mostly used is the address. The client basically redirects. It is uses after redirection. When the scan listener connect, see suppose where node VIP will comes here, which service is basically connect and which RAC node currently offer that service. Basically here in this point node VIP will come in picture. Okay, now we will understand the flow. Suppose a client wants to connect a sales service and the scan listener is currently running on node 2. Okay, suppose this service, sales service, client type, I want to connect to sales service, and sales service is running on node 2. Okay, and scan listener will tell, please try to connect to node 2 VIP, which is running on the local instance. Okay, node 2. Okay, the client is redirected. See, client type the scan listener scan, and it will comes to the DNS. DNS resolve the IPs. In the round robin method, it will return the one IP, and it will connect to the scan listener. Now scan listener here redirects to the node. Basically here it will redirect which service, like service is running on node 2. So it will redirect to node 2 VIP, and each node having local listener running, and local listener, with the help of local listener, it will connect to the database. Okay, the final flow, now you will understand. Final flow: client requested scan, DNS resolves scan.company.com, and it resolve one IP, one scan VIP. Okay, scan VIP connect to the scan listener, and it will check the configuration like service registration, those things. It will, like in the dynamic registration, it will check, and it will redirect that connection to the appropriate node, either it's node 1, node 2, and which service the client wants to connect, and where it is running, either it's node 1, node 2, or node 3. It will redirect that connection to the appropriate node VIP, and local listener is running on the database, on the node 1, node, each node having local listeners running, and once it connect to the local listener, it will connect to the database instance. So this is the complete flow of scan. So I hope you understand this scan flow very well, and I will attach this document in the description. And thank you all for watching this. Keep learning, keep growing.